produced by accident or working on its own basis unrelated to a universal reality, a truth consciousness, a supreme origin. The whole that we see, whether we see the world of matter, see the world of vegetable life, or animal life, or insect life, or human life, it seems as if each one is so disparate and so divided that there cannot be any governing, unifying principle at work. But he has shown that if you look at it from the point of view of an omnipresent reality, then the whole seems to be a veiled working out of an omnipresent reality. Omnipresent reality is working there, veiled, not seen by the human mind and sensation, but it is working there. And matter, which seems to be the last term of refusal of the spirit, so to say, is itself a working out of that omnipresent reality. That it is the fundamental principle of division which seems to be at work. And because the dividing faculty came into existence after the truth consciousness left into cosmic mind or cosmic consciousness, gradually veiling its light step by step, descending, so to say, the ladder of creation, creating at each step a universe, a world of being, powers, and so on. A mental world, a vital world, a physical world, material world, and inconscience. Well, there the shadow of the supreme light is swallowing up all the light, and it seems as if there is no light. It is really the shadow of the supreme light that is cast in the inconscient, and inconscient seems to be as it were, it has swallowed up all light and there is no light. Really speaking, the light is there, swallowed up by the shadow of the consciousness power or consciousness force. And yesterday we have worked up to this point that substance or object of consciousness is the conceptive self extension of the original being. And cosmic mind represents this substance rather. Substance, you remember this point because this is not same as matter. Substance represents itself or is represented to the cosmic mind and life through atomic division. This is represented to the cosmic mind in the form of atomic division, so that it is self-extension of the being, really speaking, which happen to be the substance. Substance is a self-extension or deployment of the original conscious power. The consciousness itself presenting to itself its own self-awareness or self-formation as an object of cognition, as an object of knowledge. And that is the substance. You see, that becomes a substance. And on that substance, when cosmic mind works, or it presents itself to the cosmic mind as, you can call it atomic division. Atomic division and atomic aggregation also as a thing which we call matter. And therefore this now, the form of the substance which the cosmic mind perceives or notices or senses is nothing else but the original divine principle of infinite being, consciousness and bliss. It is Satchidananda represented as power, as matter, power and matter. It is a form of force, of conscious being. Matter is a force. Form of what? Form of force. Force of what? Conscious being. It's the form of conscious being. Force of conscious being representing itself as form. It has that consciousness concealed. It is not visible. It is not perceptible to the sense. Delight of being is there, present, but it offers itself to this secret consciousness which is concealed there as object of sensation. Delight of being is offering itself to this concealed consciousness as object of sensation in order to tempt the hidden Godhead out of its secrecy. In this substance as matter, the delight is hidden. And the hidden delight offers itself as an object of sensation, so as to tempt out the God that is involved, the Godhead or divinity that is there, to through sensation to experience the delight. Matter, therefore, hidden Godhead out of its secrecy, matter is therefore Satchidananda represented to his own mental existence as a formal basis of objective knowledge, action, and delight of existence. It is Satchidananda itself, but it is represented to his own mental existence. Man's mental existence is the cosmic mind, and therefore it is Satchidananda's own mind. Is it not? Yes. Represented to his own mental existence as a formal basis of objective knowledge. To get the objective knowledge, there is a basis, and this Satchidananda as matter gives it. For action, delight, and delight of existence, it becomes a basis. Well, that is where we were, and that is about that. Now we take up 25th chapter, the knot of matter. It continues the same subject. Practically, there is the same subject matter is being more developed because modern mind is very much overweight by the importance of matter, and as if matter was such a final reality as to rebut all conception of it's being conscious or it being connected with the spirit, and it is just the very thing that is opposite of the spirit, and so on. These are the common concepts which are current about matter. So he has taken up 3 chapters, which I think is really he could have, but he thought it better to knock out all the present outlook. You see, because otherwise they will always say that our positions are not answered. You see. Now, he takes up all possible positions of the materialist mind, practical mind, rational mind today, scientific attitude, and answers each one so far as logic and metaphysics can answer. You see, and here in the second chapter, 25th chapter, Knot of Matter, he says there is a sharp division noticed between spirit and matter. That is the normal perception of man. A oneness which is indivisible generates infinite variety in this cosmos, universe. There is unity which is inalienable or indivisible. A unity which cannot be abrogated by anything. That seems to be at work. And it generates infinite variety. That is the first step. Then second step of the cosmic creation that we notice is a constant reconciliation behind apparent division, a struggle combining all possible separate or disparate elements to reach some vast end. It seems to be working off some secret consciousness, though outwardly it wears the aspect of struggle and, division. Struggle and division seems to be the only operating principles when universe has emerged out of the infinite the unity, creating an infinite variety. We see that. Then second aspect is of struggle, and he says the third aspect must be of a will and consciousness fulfilling themselves triumphantly in a harmony. That should be the third stage. The creation, when we look at it from the basis of an omnipresent reality, seems to be a starting with a unity. Unity which is indivisible and inalienable, and that unity creates infinite variation and multiplicity. That's one. Second step is of conflict and struggle and division and trying to arrive at reconciliation and harmony in the midst of world full of disharmony and division and conflict. The third should be, he says, well, emergence of the will and consciousness which are operating there in that world, triumphantly creating a harmony. That should be the third stage. Now, we have seen that substance is nothing else but form of consciousness and will, on which the consciousness itself works. Therefore, when we say substance, again I must make it a little repetition, but that's necessary. On this side you take matter, on this end you take the spirit. This is all substance. You see, that is substance. connecting the two ends of existence. Yes. 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 Yes, matter and spirit, because it is substance of form of consciousness. Matter here is substance of form of this consciousness, which is here as a spirit. Consciousness takes that form on that end. Consciousness takes so many. Now, here he in this chapter he is showing that there is a vast practical difference, though. Substance is one. Substance is conscious existence, presenting to the sense as object. Substance is conscious existence, presenting to our sense or to all sense, universal sense, itself as object. You see? So that the sense relation may be established and the world of sense and relation may be brought into being. Conscious existence as substance presents itself to the sense, becomes an object. And when it becomes an object, it becomes possible to establish a sense relation with the object. And when various sense relations are established, it becomes a world of relationship. It becomes a cosmos. It becomes a universe. It becomes a world, as we call it. Because one being cannot make a world. Yes. If it is Unitarian unity, then there would be no world. So that substance presenting itself to the consciousness as object, so that a sense relation may be established and the world may be brought into being or formed. But this relation of the one substance is not of one type. There is an ascending series of substance. You see, this substance is not of, it's not of, this substance is, you can call, physical substance, let me call it. Then it is vital substance. Then it is mental substance. So that it creates, and then truth consciousness, substance again. Satchidananda substance. So that substance connecting spirit and matter, two ends of the whole rung of existence, becomes here not substance which is confined to one aspect of it. A relation is not along one line, but it is ascending series of substance. Substance ascends into if you take substance here at the base, the substance here, then it goes on rising to a series of substances. Like that. It's a series. And really speaking, this should be arranged, if you want a perfect picture, it should be arranged in ascending order in a connected way. That is to say, it should go like that, you see. And yes, the substance, the whole is ascending. This is substance again.
Is there a sharp line between the vital in the middle, or is it a grade that gradually fades from one to the other?
Always it fades from one to the other. This is only for our mind to make it clear, a clear understanding. There is none. It is really speaking like this. It's a wave in which each one melts into the other without a sharp division. You see, we are making a division because we are living in mind. And mind is the instrument of division. So we say, let us be clear, let us be clear. There is a stupidity of mind which requires the explanation. Well, we can't help it. Mind is division, and therefore we have to divide what is indivisible, really speaking. But because the substance is only one. But when mind says one, it can't be many. But it is. And not only many, so multiple many that you can't imagine with mind. Because on each level, the substance now, imagine substance on matter. How much varied is its manifestation? Then substance on life plane. How much varied is its manifestation? Substance on mind. And in each one, and yet it is one substance. To the mind, it looks baffling, but that is the truth. Well, mind has to learn it. There is no go. Mind has to learn that what is contradictory to it perhaps is the truth. And truth is where the contradictions of the mind meet. Truth is not to be found in rigid divisions of the mind. Mind, when it divides the one. I mean, the total knowledge into one aspect and takes one aspect as a whole. Really speaking, whatever mind thinks just the opposite, put them together, and probably you are in the realm of reality. When you say one cannot be many, then you teach your mind, all right, let me put one and many together. That may be the truth. You see, yes. You say activity and passivity cannot be together. Then you say, now let me put activity and passivity together. That is the realm of the truth. That is the plane of truth. Because where the mind divides, the truth unites and reconciles. So see, well, there you find the difficulty. Now here, this is the pure mind substance, pure spirit substance, pure life substance, pure material substance. And beyond this conscious manifestation, there is possibility of no substance. Then there is no universe. Then there is no concept. Then there is no problem. It is conceivable that there is no substance somewhere. Well, when there is no substance, then there is no world. Beyond this possibility, well, objective identity will completely disappear. There will be no object. And when there is no object, there will be no universe. Well, spiritually, this creates a difference, not a division, but a difference which you can conceive. Material substance, vital substance, mental substance, spiritual substance. This is one substance, but really, in conception, it lends itself to a sort of a demarcation or difference. And a series which seems to descend from spirit to matter, from spirit it descends right from top to the bottom, and again tries to rise from bottom to the top. There is a series of substance in which there is a double movement. One movement is a descent from the spirit to below and ascent from matter to above. You see? So that the series of substance seems to be lending itself to our concept as if there was a possibility of making a division between descent from the spirit to mind and up to matter, and ascent from matter right up to again spirit. Now, of all this process of what to our mind appears as descent and ascent, the supreme Brahman or infinite is the substance. This substance is the consciousness force of the infinite, presenting itself as a form, you see, taking up a form, so to say, to its own self. That is the substance. Well, that substance is nothing else but infinite being, the being of Satchidananda or Brahman, if you like to call it. Then what is supermind? Supermind is unmentalized matter, if you like to call it, unmentalized substance or unmentalized, spiritual substance. It is substance, but it is not yet rendered in terms of mind. Matter or life or mind or supermind, they are nothing else but modes of the Brahman, modes of the infinite. Modes of Brahman, modes of the infinite. Quality, you call it if you like, but quality would be mode is more correct because there is an action and activity involved, you see. Now, you take the mental attitude now with regard to this truth. Then, when mind looks at it, to the mind, matter seems to be completely cut off from the spirit. Though it is one series of substance which is pervading from inconscience to the superconscious, yet to the mind, when mind takes the view, it appears as if there is a division, matter is completely cut off from the spirit. And therefore, man or mind thinks of the solution of what is to be done. When matter is not connected with the spirit, what is the solution? Is the solution merging into the spirit substance again only, insisting on the spirit as the highest substance and rejecting matter, which seems to be to the mind fallen substance or substance which is divided from the spirit, is it not? Why does man want to rush into the spirit? Because he thinks that the realm of matter or the world of matter is a world of suffering, limitation, division, conflict, death, imperfection, all kinds of problems, is it not? He seems to think that it is matter which is presenting this problem, which is in one sense quite true. Because matter, when it takes hold of life, for instance, what does it do? Or when life takes hold of matter, you find that life becomes gross, limited by physical organism, then it becomes subject to pain and subject to death. So the substance, even if it is known, well, matter, when it is being dealt with by life substance or life being, it doesn't seem to help it much. If you see, when matter is masked itself as mind, matter, when it is, takes up life or takes up mind, then mind is made incapable, half blind, as he calls it, loses its freedom. Mind feels it's, seeking. Feet of mind are, the wings of mind is clipped, so to say. Its feet are tied to the earth. You see, mind is not allowed to operate freely. It's not permitted. And if freedom is taken away, and animal grossness of the physical life in the mind also makes mind disgusted with its material sheath in which it is made to harbor a home, find a home. Now, this view that acceptance of the substance of matter by life or by mind and life together, subjects the higher substance of life and mind to cramping limitations. See, that is the experience of mental being, mind. Therefore, mind wants to take up the attitude that ultimate wisdom lies in rejecting matter, rejecting physical existence or the material world or the plane of matter. This Sri Aurobindo pleads is not correct and whole. The integral attitude is not right. To take up this as if this was the last word of wisdom, because life and mind are limited in their operations or in their working, when they encase themselves in matter, therefore to conclude, therefore, that the only conclusion is to leave matter or to escape into the spirit, well, would not be the last word of wisdom. It may be the first reaction. And the reasons which are pleaded are this, that therefore to the mind, matter appears as if ignorance at its height, acme of ignorance. Matter to mind appears as if, well, this has no mind at all. The height of ignorance is matter. It does not know because it has no mind. This matter, blind in conscience, it creates, it destroys indiscriminately. Powerful wind, some earthquake, some tornado, well, something happens and so much it creates also indiscriminately, destroys indiscriminately. Look at, mind is looking at matter. Then the first view is like this, that it is ignorance at its height. Matter is something which does not know. It not only because it has no mind, and yet it has tremendous power. It creates and destroys indiscriminately. It doesn't care. It has no heart. Not only it has no mind, it has no heart. Then the second difficulty which mind finds is that out of this which is no mind, mind has come into being. To the mental view, yes, mind is independent, but mind, when it blinds itself by limitation of matter, it appears as if out of this no mind which is matter, mind has appeared. And this is a pitiless miracle in the language of life divine. This is a pitiless miracle, he says. Because this mind, man, that has appeared, is it not? This mind in man struggles helplessly as an individual and a little more powerfully and successfully collectively against this colossal ignorance. That is what is happening actually when out of this no mind, mind has appeared. And this heartless inconscience slowly emerges into a movement of instrumentality, and you find that gradually it gives rise to heart. Out of this heartlessness, some heart has appeared. So, heartless inconscience gives rise to heart, and hearts which are tortured, blind, and troubled. Yes, all along. But it gives rise to that. Now, this is this grasp of ignorance that even when mind has appeared, again the materiality holds its, keeps its hold upon it. And instruments, all instruments of free life, free mind are determined by matter. All the instrument by which the spirit encased in matter has to work, life instrument, they are all limited by material, you know, material substance of which they are made. Mind is limited by the material substance of which mind is made. So the mind is not allowed or permitted to act freely. A mind cannot act. It is mind which is subjected to all the limitations of material substance. And this matter itself is colossal inertia. Doesn't move, but it is itself constantly in infinite motion. That is what science says. It is inertia, and yet it is itself in constant, incalculable motion. One stone, you would say, oh, it is moving at the speed of light. Every particle in it is moving at the speed of light. No joke. So that it is itself powerfully active, moving, yet it is inconscient. Inert, inertia. Infinite itself is infinite motion, only mechanical, moved by mechanical force. And when this inconscience faces life or mind, it allows life and mind to change it a little. It allows life and mind to make a little modification or little change in its inertia or in its inconscience. To a very small measure, inertia does respond to the demand of mind and life, but prevents total conquest. See, man's body is matter rendered active, is it not? Body is matter rendered active. So it accepts some change. It would have remained like that, like a table, unable to move. No, it moves. So that much. It allows some change, but doesn't allow any total conquest. And this is why, because matter, this substance is the principle of division carried out to the last point. Indivisible, divided to the last degree. And division is therefore the basis of its action. Basis of action of matter is division. That is why the conquest is not allowed to other principles which have division, not division as a basis. Thus, we have seen that matter brings to the human being limitations of his bodily, vital, and mental existence. And therefore, the pessimist theory that this basis will not change, matter will be matter, we cannot do anything with matter, the best is to make the best out of this, terrible condition in which we are, well, somehow compelled to be. So, best is to remain for the time being. And if you take the basis that ignorance and ego, limitations, division, difficulty, strife, struggle, suffering, these are the laws. Because matter is division, and it does not allow mind and vitality or life force to conquer it. Well, the conclusion is that therefore world is world of, well, eternal laws, and those laws will not change. So mind and life, particularly mind of man, concludes that therefore pessimistic theory, no possible escape out of the inevitable laws of matter exists for man. That's how the pessimist theory justifies the basis that the world will remain what it is, and these laws are are eternal, and vanity of vanities, all is vanity, illusion of the spirit, you see, deception of the flesh, and all kinds of ideas which you find. Well, therefore, reject this old world as an error, either of inconscient force or error of the infinite. That's how the theory which mind works out on the basis of this perception. But he says it is mind that has created this division. And this matter is not created by mind. Division is created by the mind. But matter is not created by mind. We have seen that matter is nothing else but a form of the infinite being, consciousness, and delight. Then, what is the relation between sense as developed in life and mind and substance? The substance, which is a form of the infinite consciousness and power. Is this the only relation between sense and substance which our mind gives? Our mind gives this relation that this is eternal law. Fixed formula of life is that matter will remain matter. You understand? Matter will remain only inconscient and these laws will remain as they are. Well, he says that if our perception and our philosophical conclusion or metaphysical reasoning has given us the idea and the truth that substance is the form of the infinite conscious being, and matter is only last point of the substance appearing to us. Well, therefore, the question arises that this substance has one relation with mind, with sense. The substance and relation of substance and sense, is it only bound by the present formula of mental consciousness? That is the problem. He says, therefore, is this the only possible relation between sense and substance? States of even matter, other than known to man, do exist. Even material states exist which man has not yet perceived. And so there is no reason to suppose that the present knowledge and possibility of matter is binding on the spirit or man's experience. Ascending series of gradation of substance is possible. An ascending series of gradation, a gradation is possible. And there, matter would accept the law of the higher rung of the series of substance. Substance being one, from one end of existence to the other, the end of matter would accept the law of another series of the same substance from a higher series. And it is not impossible. What would prevent it? It is the present view of matter taken by man can stand against this view and man's supreme fulfillment by all the time insisting that matter must remain matter. But there is no reason to suppose that the material form of substance is unchangeable. Material form of substance can open to higher series of substance and be influenced by it, be molded by it. There is theoretically no reason to believe that matter must remain what it is to our sensation. See, the relation between matter and present life and mind sensation is a particular equation. Well, he says there is no reason to suppose that this equation is the last. Is it going to persist? And that brings us to this 26th chapter where ascending series of substance is being treated. He just describes this ascending series. I think that it is not necessary to go through the whole of it. There he works out only 2 or 3 points, which I will put there. Then follow the ascending series of substance. You see, now the series of substance is like that one, but it is an ascending, and each one again has there's a break at a certain point, and then again the series meets another. So if it is matter is here, it is influenced by this partly now, influenced by mind partly now. If it is influenced by substance here on the series to the height of the spirit, then matter can undergo a change. It is man who embodies, man is the instrument who embodies in him three series of substance: mind, mental series, life, and body. So he embodies the substance of three series: mental substance, vital substance, material substance. Well, he creates first possibility of opening into the higher series of substance. He creates the first possibility in which how can matter directly, the spirit substance directly act on this matter substance? There is no via media. There is no instrument. You see, there is no channel through which the higher series of substance can act directly on matter. So man is the instrument who embodies in him this possibility of becoming the now this series of substance which you take. The ascending scale runs like that and seems to go like that. So it is the process of bringing back to bear upon mind which is here, mental substance embodied in man as vitally and material substance. All the three series are, so to say, represented in mind. Well, the descending power of the supramental or truth consciousness can operate here on the triple series of mind, life, and matter embodied in man and change the substance that is manifested here into operation of a higher substance. Now, matter to the human mind, what do we call matter? What are the qualities of matter? Solidity. Matter is something which is felt as solid. Tangibility. Matter is a firm response to touch. That is matter. More subtle a thing becomes, it appears to us less material. More subtle, less material. Is it not? Yeah. Well, the ancient people also called this earth, you see, the material principle. And they said that touch is the basis of all sensation. Sense means touch. All sense. You touch by the eye, you touch by the ear, you touch by the skin, but you touch. Touch is the fundamental sense. You see, sensation means touch, contact. That is, yes, that is sensation. So, form is the basis of contact or touch. All sense means basically tactual sense or contact sense. From earth to ether to earth, the Sankhyas put from subtle to gross. And there they have forms, so they will put down like that. You see, ether to earth, subtle to gross. This is substance. Remember, this is almost material substance. You can say it is matter. This is material substance. This is not spiritual substance. Ether is a material principle. Now, it's a movement from subtle to the gross. And of all these, form is the basis, with all forms, are concentration of some energy or force. Then they offer resistance to any outer touch, mutual impenetrability of form, distinct separate existence, something of a division. Otherwise, there is no form. Form cannot exist unless there is some delimitation of the infinite, of the formless. Form means, well, concentrating something at one point. capacity to resist dissolving power or disturbing or destructive elements. A form and another form cannot penetrate into each other because they must retain their identity. Therefore, an individuality or separateness. Form, therefore, is necessarily requires substance, you see, and matter. Now, matter is the limit of divisibility because it takes into consideration atom, the smallest particle. You see, the limit of divisibility of form is reached when matter comes into existence. You see, atom is the last form. You see, so you reach the limit of divisibility when you reach the end of substance called matter. Matter is the end of substance. Spirit is the other end. Yes. And you take a form. The form is not durable. If the form is not durable, then you try to wonder what is it. Then you come to essence of the form. Then it is eternal. If you take a form, the power of form is durability, as we put it before. You see, matter is tangibility, solidity, and response to touch and so on, firmness and so on. Well, of the form, durability of form is one power. And if the form is less durable, less and less durable, you go into more and more form which are not durable, less and less durable form. Well, you draw towards substance, essence of the form, that which the form stands for, that which embodies itself in the form. Is it not? You draw to that which is put itself into the form. When form is dissolved, so to say, where does it go? Things are indestructible. If you take what you see, take a something formed of a material element, and you dissolve the form will go to its essence, is it not? And essence is eternal. Eternity of essence you attain when durability of form is dissolved, so to say. So, you see, if you come to durability, the essence houses itself into the form, really speaking, is it not? Essence is housing itself into the form. Essence becomes available to our contact, to our sense, in the form of form. If you dissolve the form, it goes into the essence. You want to touch ether. You want to touch atom. You say, I can't touch atom. Then you say, no, now make an atom of hydrogen and oxygen and mix them in one proportion, then you can touch it as water. You dissolve it into its element, well, it goes into its essence, it's not destroyed. Form, therefore, gives an occasion for the essence to house itself in and manifest a quality, manifest a power, manifest a capacity that is there. Form gives the essence an opportunity to bring into manifestation, to sensation, a quality which without form you cannot have. Without form, you cannot satisfy your thirst for water. Yes, even though you will be in contact with the Supreme Consciousness. Yes. Because the Supreme Consciousness must become this vibration in order to satisfy the thirst of a human body. The sensation. Away from persistent separation, then you draw to a height of a divine poise and infinity and unity. You take away or move away from resistance of matter, well, you go into the indivisibility of the spirit. So the gross substance to the spirit substance. Therefore, substance seems to expand or extend itself from This is substance. Then you say gross substance. Spirit substance. This is our mind dividing into one indivisible substance, remember. This is just for the convenience of understanding. Gross substance, spirit substance, but it is substance. And mind stands at the point of, here. Gross substance moving toward the spirit substance, stands at mind. And that is where the problem is. That is where we are.
Then
Yes. That is where the problem of substance is there, you see. Now you see the substance here. What do you find in the mind? That here substance seems to stand out against all other forms. And the same consciousness force has taken up one side, and it just still seems to be, as it were, standing out against all other masses of the same consciousness force. Physical existence of man in the mind, or mind's physical existence, is thus subjected to this mutual resistance, division, death, the same life force which it has brought into mind and the physical substance. All that carries this limitation. But this rhythm which is there here is not the only possible rhythm that man can experience. It is one rhythm at present obtaining, yes, but it's not the only possible rhythm. The present formula of physical cosmos, even here in the present constitution of the universe, there is an ascending state from gross to subtle. Even now you can observe, from grossness to subtlety, there is a gradation. Even in the universe as it is constituted toward mind and senses. Of course, you will see that there, matter and material forces seem to be the last result of pure substance and pure force, in which consciousness is lost in what to us appears as matter. That is true. Material universe, well, is less than the subtle states of which it is a result. We see material universe, but we do not notice or sense the vaster subtle universe of which it is the result. Most probably the result is not, the origin is not seen by us. States, subtler states and gradations of substance correspond to the ascending series of matter, life and mind, going up to supermind and Satchidananda. Now, sense, life and thought on earth start by obeying, as we saw, the law of the earth, law of the substance of matter. And they accommodate themselves to, even now, to new development. And they have to all the time take count of the basis of matter. So that limitation of physical instrument to the sense, nervous system to life, corporeal body to the mind, all these act as limitation. Essentially, sense, life and mind in their own constitution are free. If you take mind as an independent principle, not mind manifested in here in life, but take mind as a cosmic term, then mind cosmic is free. But mind manifested in evolution is limited. Cosmic mind is free. Sensation, for instance, sense, universal sense is free. But sense manifested here in man or in the life well here, sense is limited. Because of the limitation of matter. That is how telepathy, clairvoyance, these phenomena are possible not because of matter but because of the freedom of mind and sense. Mind and sense are fundamentally free. That is why they can act independently of physical organism. And when they act, then you get what they call miraculous working or occult working and so on. That is nothing else but the assertion of freedom of vital being and mental being, even when it is manifested in terms of matter. Life and mind acting freely without depending on instrumentation or organs that are provided by matter. When it acts straight away, well, then what we call the occult or miraculous phenomenon take place. But it is they are in there. So he is pointing out that the substance is not bound to be always limited by the limitations of matter, which at present seem to be operating on the spirit when it accepts life and mind and matter and manifests itself in a series of universal manifestations. In the manifestation of universe, the present limitation to which mind and life are subjected in their substance is not final and binding, because even now we see the influence or impact of the other gradation of substance on the level of mind, on the level of life, and even on the plane of matter. Well, that's why he is trying to make out a case for sense organs do not create sense perception. Only cosmic sense, well, creates the sense organism. Nervous system does not create life. It is cosmic life force which creates the nervous system for its own work. Brain does not create, thought, but brain is the result of cosmic mind trying to prepare for it an instrument for action in the cosmos, you see. So it is not a fundamental law, therefore, what obtains, but it is a constructive principle adopted by the intention of the spirit to evolve itself in a world of matter. To evolve a world of matter, this is a construction which is adopted by intentionally by the spirit. Mind is, for instance, next grade of substance is life. He says we have seen how mind matter operates. You now try to see how life operates. When life substance acts in its independence and freedom, you find that desire is the dominating law of life substance. And on the plane of life, it determines all the facts of vital plane on the basis of desire and impulse. Their matter is not allowed to intervene on the plane of pure life. Independent of material life, if you can conceive of a life plane where matter is not indispensable to life, there life operates on the plane of impulse and desire. Is not limited by matter at all. So that a spirit in the vital world, supposing it wants to take food, it can take enormous amount of food. You understand how I'm giving an illustration of how when life is acting or gets a chance of acting in complete freedom of material substance, then life acts only on the basis of division, desire. And that desire is not limited by formula of mind. Supposing on the vital plane there is wine available, a vital being can go on drinking without limit. Absolutely. Because there is no body to limit its enjoyment of wine. You understand? On the vital plane, if taste attracts a man, attracts a vital being, he can go on eating enormously. There is no limit because there is no physical body to limit his power of eating. And you see something of it when the human being is possessed by some of these beings. You see something of it when the physical human being is possessed by someone. You see Rasputin. He drinks whole night for 12 hours and he's not drunk. He's not off his head at all. He's quite conscious because he's not a human being. You see, it's not a human power that is. Even with a physical body, what limit the vital can press upon the physical body, you can see in such cases. There are, say, people who eat quantities unimaginable. You can't imagine where it goes. There is, after all, a stomach, isn't it? No, you don't know where it goes. It goes enormous amount. The same way of any of these things which you see in the physical body, you find that when there is a intervention of a pure vital being on the plane of matter, even matter is made to be sufficiently elastic to manifest things which are absolutely against the normal operation of its law. What appears to be the law, I mean, but the present equation. Well, force of desire there, conscious life to which matter and mind have to submit themselves. You take the third organization, substance of mind, mental principle. Well, there the substance of mind is very subtle and flexible, and directly it is capable of being manipulated by other minds. So that on the mental plane, if you become conscious of mind, you can manipulate some other mind because there's no resistance of you can influence somebody's mind absolutely straight without talking, without speaking, without communicating a thought. Simply mind influencing mind by a direct process of manipulation or contact. That is how an evolved being can help some other being also by changing the condition of mind if there is an opening and a contact and a relation, of course. You can do it in spite of somebody, but it's not healthy. If life manifests on the mental plane, it will have to obey this mental law, becoming flexible and becoming all kinds of powers of the mind will have, life will have to admit. Well, that is how this substance works on three different levels actually available to us: substance material, substance vital, substance mental. We see that it doesn't operate in the same way. So, in the supermind, in the bliss or being or consciousness of Satchidananda, well, it is possible to contact a world just as the world of mind exists. Mind substance, vital substance, material substance, so a world of truth substance or truth consciousness, Satchidananda consciousness exists as a plane of substance. Not plane of mind, but plane of substance, actually organized universe, world. And that is, some people have called it Brahmalok or Golok or truth consciousness, truth world or supramental world or plane and so on. Well, those worlds of higher existence, illumined divine existence do exist. Cosmic existence is now that we now take the whole cosmos as it is. We leave the mind and life and body. Take cosmic existence as a whole. He says it's a very complex harmony. Complex, it's not limited to one plane, to one particular substance. The universe in which we live is not, it is a complex play of many substances. And man experiences some of these substances. Being, consciousness, force of substance, they descend and ascend as we see in the universe. In the present universe, we see that the universes of substances are interpenetrating. Mind is influencing life, life is influencing matter, mind is influencing matter, then matter is influencing mind, and so on, like that. There is a cross play of this complex, substances in the universe as we see it. It's a complex play, yes, a complex harmony, and not limited to one particular substance which is now experienced by man, because they seem to be descending and ascending, and it is like a many runged ladder with many steps. On each step, a vast self extension of the infinite or one has taken place. On each step, there is a world or a universe. On the plane of mind, there is a mental world. In the earth, there is a mental earth. You see here. So that mind is not limited to human beings only. Here. On each step, a vast self extension of the one it seems to have taken place. The more subtle, the more powerful. The more subtle is that is what you have seen even in matter. The more subtle is more powerful, more penetrating, more comprehensive, more effective. Each one is not cut off from the rest, therefore, and yet, that is what you were asking. Each is not cut off from the rest. Therefore, our very material existence and substance is a complex weft in its design and pattern of the spirit. In this one principle, all the other principles of substances have entered. In matter, all the principles have entered in the process of descent. Material world is a result of all the other worlds, all the other principal substances, you see. It's not separated and cut off and material conscious, material substance. No. In it, all the other worlds and their substances have entered. And they have descended into matter. The last word of descent becomes therefore the first word of ascent. When you go to the last point of division, well, that point begins the first step of ascent backward to the spirit, you see. Because all the powers are involved. Why it becomes the first step of ascent? Because in matter, all the possibilities and potentiality are involved in substance of matter. And when the division has reached the last point, well, the evolution begins because the substance begins to manifest that which is involved. Involved in it begins to evolve. Therefore, material being does not stop with gases, suns, nebulae, and systems of atoms and aggregations only, but evolves life. You understand now? If matter was only matter, life would not have come out of it. Therefore, yes, it doesn't stop with gases and suns and systems and atoms, but evolves life, evolves mind, and is bound to evolve the supermind. Because that also is involved there. Yes. Evolution comes by the unceasing pressure of the supra-material planes on the material and need from below, exerting a kindred pressure and sending the kindred pressure from above. Material principle wants to free the involved substance. The free substance exerts pressure on the material, substance to evolve what is involved in it. As a result of the double pressure, well, the higher principle, higher substances go on manifesting on in our universe, the universe as we know it. You see, the cosmic existence, which is a complex harmony. The higher can descend and manifest itself here. But then an instrument would be needed. And he says, man is the instrument because he is one who holds in him body, material substance, life, vital substance, mind, material, mental substance. Well, he brings the whole evolved, the evolved powers of the cosmos to a point. You see, and the substance does not end with the body. More perfect physical body also can be evolved if we admit the possibility. Well, then it says that way body can't be denied the possibility of changing into a higher substance than matter. I think we can stop there. Well, there is now practically we have come to the end of the first book, except one chapter which is over mind. We might take one term and then two talks on life divine, which are there with me here. One only we'll take, and the last we'll take afterwards, origin of ignorance and one or two other subjects of life divine. We are coming to the almost to the end of the first book. So it's the intervention of the overmind which he wants to put down as a practical necessity of evolving spirit that we'll have to just see.
Yeah. Wanted to ask, I don't have this quite right perhaps. You gave us an example, Rasputin, not human. Rasputin, you said he's not human.
Yes.
Then, I don't know if I have this correctly, then he was really possessed or obsessed by the vital.
Well, he was perhaps, I think there was a possession or perhaps an incarnation. It's difficult to say.
Oh, I see.
Because you see, even after one shot, he was still standing.
Oh,
It was on the third or fourth that he reeled. Now a shot is sufficiently strong shock to knock down a human being, you see.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yusupov, you see the man who murdered him, Yusupov, he went there and shot him one. He was standing. And Yusupov was taken by surprise. He's still standing. He thought, something. He was frightened. The man is standing after one shot. It took him three.
So the
In incarnation, yes, some sort of yes. Yes, yes. It is called, vampire. Would call it vampire? I don't know. You might call it vampire, but
it's from the Bible.
yes, vital world, of course. Something of the vampire, you see. At least total incarnation. Is it? It was not human being at all throughout, so to say. It looked as if like that.
Shrink old and go plastic.
You are right. Yes, but you are correctly addressing somebody. Right. He is right here. Don't worry. Address him. He is not absent at all. You are addressing the person who is here. Please take my word for it.
Anyway.
Yes.
The substance of
Yes. Yes. Yeah, he is present. He is present here.
St. Paul had this.
That admission of a divine principle has never been in doubt by people who were believed in a higher agency. Divine principle and all pervading divine entity or divine element has been admitted. Then two or three questions arise. First, what is meant to do with it? And then how to proceed about it? And when you have come in contact with it, well, what is the form that it is going to take or should take in at least present society or present world?
Yeah.
You see, in the past world, they had very vague idea about that because perhaps they had not our problems. They had a very vague idea. As I told you, in the Life Divine, you will find at least half a dozen passages in which he speaks of the kingdom of heaven. But the people who wrote about kingdom of heaven did not work it out to the clear vision of the people to whom they spoke about it. So what was the constitution of the kingdom of heaven? What is the kingdom of heaven? In what consists its perfection, if it is perfection? Then here you find an infinite existence, consciousness, and bliss, organizing itself as the first instrument of world truth consciousness. Then in the truth consciousness, you see all knowledge and will, indivisible, harmony as the operative law, and you find that as an all-pervading principle arising, seeing a vision within its own self of one and the many at the same time without losing its infinity and unity. You see, now this is some idea of that perfect world. How did it succeed in creating this cosmos? Well, he explains. So that it is as if God has come back and is now explaining the detail of how he created the world. See exactly, and why it is so constituted. Then you ask him why man is ignorant. He explains. Why man has pain. He explains. Yes. So that what Buddha said is more than explained. People don't understand. As if Buddha alone was obsessed with the idea of pain. The explanation of pain given by Sri Aurobindo is unrivaled in the world of philosophy, in the world of poetry. He has explained, understood the problem of pain and explained and also pointed out a way out of it, quite different from Gautam Buddha. That is where the light which comes based on the past contributes to the present and to the creation of a perfect future. You see, that is our problem is not to go back to the past. We can't. What has been done has been assimilated, has been achieved. What good had to be done has been done. Now we cannot bring those remedies and apply it here because they will not work. It is not a question of disrespect for anyone. Yes, we have full respect for the past incarnations because they are divine. And so we respect them. We invoke their help so far as it can be of help in the present condition. But the highest help that one can have in mind, in his vital life, in his individual life, in his collective life today, is from a light like Sri Aurobindo. Because he gives you this full expanded view of that perfect world, its relation with this world, then the way to reach it, the way to bring it down, and what form it is likely to take. All the details. Nobody has ever worked it out like that. Not even the Indian Upanishads, which are regarded as sources of wisdom in India. Even there, you do not find that picture. It's no disrespect to the Upanishads to say that what Sri Aurobindo says they didn't say, but there's nothing wrong in it. It is state only a fact. It is more or less a statement of fact. Tendency among all mankind to look upon the past as always more perfect than the present.
They do the same thing about Sri Aurobindo's teaching.
Yes, probably.
Another 1,000 years or something.
They wrote that they're enthusiastic about the past incarnation, but they never accept the present incarnation.
To go to heaven, then you have to create one, right?
No, no, you can explain. Oh, here. Oh, yes.
Here on earth. So
Yes.
you have to create one.
Yes, that is true. The higher world of perfection manifesting here in a world of imperfection. That's it. The problem can be solved here only. Because there is no problem. Problem doesn't exist. Imperfection is not there.
Now, virgin and birth throughout the ages, I never believed them, but the prophets would give an explanation how they could occur.
Yes, that is not a mental concept. The conception is not mental. The conception of the world takes place beyond mind. Shakti creates directly out of this spiritual consciousness without resorting to any material, media. Even in spiritual life, even now in the human world, the guru, who is the guide, helps the disciple by giving him a second birth. And the second birth is an inner birth and not an outer birth.
It says in the Bible, you'll be born again.
Yes, that's it. The second birth is inner birth, not an outer birth. The birth, when you awaken to spiritual possibility, that's second birth. Till one is not obsessed with the idea of, life, God, or realizing and so on, well, he is physically born. When he awakens to the inner need of spiritual life, well, that's a second birth.
Does that second birth come at the meeting, right in the beginning, at the meeting of the guru, or does it come all the way through?
No, second birth comes when the soul of the individual perceives the necessity of outliving the present attractions of life, so to say, the way of life, vital life, career, money, family, that. When out of that one says, this is not the aim of life, that is the second birth. Then he may meet his guru afterwards, who can effectively give him the second birth, because one is not easily able to take second birth himself fully. He can feel the necessity of a birth, like a child trying to want to be born, but he must be helped to be born. You see? And it's the guru who helps him to be born by an internal conception, so to say. The consciousness of the guru is like a mother, you see. It bears the soul of the disciple and then gives it back to him. But that's an inner process. It's no use bothering about that. is conceived by the guru, you see, by the one who guides. And then he is born, so to say.
When you speak of guru, are you speaking of your higher?
Yes, your own higher self in a way, whom you meet in a human person.
Well, you don't always.
No, you may not meet. Yes, you may not always meet, but he is always there. The inner guide. The guru is always there, the highest self of man. He may identify and meet him in a human form, and a human being. That also happens. And then you can recognize him. That recognition is easy. You can meet him in a human person. Then it's not his human nature that will guide you. People mistake when they see a guru who is quite ordinary like any other man. But it's not he, it's not his mind and his outer being is not guiding, the inner consciousness is guiding. That's the truth, very difficult for modern mind.
But didn't Aurobindo say in the synthesis of yoga that it is possible for the spirit of truth, for the person to contact the spirit of truth
Within his own self.
within his own
Yes.
self?
The guru is in the heart. He says the inner guru, inner guide. The true guru is inner. He is always, that's put down in life. Divine is a principle.
Yes.
In synthesis, I mean, is a principle. That the true guru is within. All people can't contact or awaken the true guru within, so they meet the guru outside. Guru outside is not ruled out because it is your inner guru whom you meet outside. You don't meet your some outer person and then you say, this is my guru. You meet your own higher self. That's very true when you know when you know a relation of a guru and disciple.
See how that could be done.
It's it's one must experience, otherwise it's difficult to convey the idea to a mind that is not seeing.
Well, there is no outside in a way in that.
Yes,
There is no outside.
yeah.
There's all inside the ghost one. It doesn't make so much difference.
If you put this question to yourself that supposing I would like to become perfect or like God, how would I be like? Then you meet somebody and you say, that is like that. That's all. That's it. Well, that's your guru, nothing else. There you have met your guru. Only not perfect. But he satisfies your need of the perfection that you see. And that is a spirit that is there at work. If he is also humanly perfect, well, more so, to accept him with more ease. But even with imperfection, the guru is felt within, the consciousness. And we say that consciousness, this is right.
Purani, it's difficult for the Western mind
Yes.
to worship
Yes.
a so-called a person or an embodied soul as a guru. In India, I think that's relatively usual.
Yes, very easy. Yes, for Indian mind, it's easy to accept.
Usual. It's
Yes,
difficult for people
yes.
here to accept this idea.
In one sense, it is good. In another sense, it is a bar. You
Yes.
see, is it good in one sense that you don't easily submit your personality to somebody else who might not be as perfect as you imagine him to be.
Yeah.
It prevents superstition. It prevents, resigning your judgment and your common sense
Yeah.
sometimes, and so on. Now, many faults it prevents, but it also prevents your recognition of the guru when you actually have him.
Yes.
And because the divine has to manifest in a body. And when the divine is actually in a body, because the impression is there, the samskar is there that no human being can be divine. So it refuses divine when he is there.
Right there. I understand it, but
This is one difficulty.
yes,
it is.
Can't expect it.
Yes.
Well, it's because of Hara.
Their idea of divine is that he must have some dictation from mind. That is their idea of divine. That if he is a divine, he must not take a body.
Yes.
Yeah, there is too much of a strong dictation to the divine. If divine heard it, he would say, well, my dear fellow, leave me some freedom.
The early teaching in Sunday school is that
I must be able to put limit to myself if I want to. Why not? Why should I do what you want me to do every time?
the early
I must do sometimes what I want to do. And I may take up a human body. Well, she says, no, that you can't. All right. Can't help it.
We're taught, so often in Sunday school, that God is something like an old man with a beard, in the clouds.
Yes, yes.
It's difficult to get away from
Or
that.
at least that all people are imperfect, and anyone who said differently is a big.
Yes, yes. Yes. Gita puts it in the mouth of Krishna, this word. You see, avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam. The fools, mudha is fool, idiots. Really, little translation is idiots. Idiots, you see, do not take cognizance of me or do not regard me at all when I have taken up the human body.
Mhm. And also it seems easier for us to conceive of a father, to worship a father,
yes.
to conceive of a father or the male consciousness, than to expect the ideal of a mother. I mean, you find it here. That's the only thing I can think of. The only reason that I can think of is just because.
I don't know. To Indian mind, the other concept is more easy. To think of the creator as the mother and the creation as a child.
Yeah.
It's a more,
natural.
Organic, natural, intense, and very happy relation. And not only that, a dynamic relation. You can't imagine a more dynamic relation than of a mother and a child. The universe is the child, the creation is the child of the creatrix. And she is very anxious that it should be perfect, that it should be good, that it should be marvelous. Well, every mother wants her child to be like that, is it not? So, what is wrong there in having a mother? It is better to have a mother than a father. Children always prefer mother to a father.
Is that right? Yeah. It just doesn't seem to be natural. You have to grow into this understanding.
Yes.
Because we're taught that way. Yes, we're taught.
Yes.
We're taught our Father who art in heaven. Father, from the beginning. And still there's
I think Henry Bergson, you see, when somebody went to his house when he was 18 nearly, before he died, few years before he died, 2 years, that then creative evolution, he has written a book called Creative Evolution. He's a great philosopher in France. He was one of the great philosophers in Europe in the last generation. And so he asked him how you came across this, the creative evolution and so on. So he pointed to a picture of Mary and said that, well, I got the first inkling from this, that there is a creative energy at work in the cosmos, you see. That the universe begins with a creative energy, a creative force. But in India, it is so axiomatic that you wonder at somebody not understanding mother idea. They are simply, they don't understand how a man can't understand so simple a thing.
Lack of understanding.
Yes, it's when one takes up the actual effort of yogic life, then things will come by themselves. You see. By experience, this will grow. It's not by mental acceptance that this can become real to man. It must come by experience, by concrete realization.
The feeling of it.
Yes.